So we can start. Well, welcome everybody that's already welcomed. Welcome to week 3 of the study of the KYBALION. Pazit, you want to go and review for us?
Perfect. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the KYBALION. So we're just going to go through the first 4 principles that we studied just very quickly. And then Carolyn will jump into polarity and I'll jump into rhythm. So the principle of mentalism is that the universe is mental. All is created through the mind. That's what it means. So always remember, everything that you do is created through your mind. Then we jumped into the principle of correspondence. And that principle explains how things are as above, so below. So what we understand is that our thoughts that are below the surface are in correspondence with the reality above the surface. So below the surface in our mind, the invisible, and above the surface, the reality. And then we went into the principle of vibration, where nothing rests, everything moves, everything is energy. And in this principle, it differentiates the many manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and spirit, which are varying rates of vibration. The higher your vibration, the higher your position, and of course, vice versa. And now we'll jump in with Carolyn to the principle of polarity, which means that everything is dual. Everything has poles, everything has opposites, and opposites are identical in nature, but different in degrees. So opposites meet. So go ahead, Carolyn.
So this principle is the truth of all manifested things, that they have 2 sides, but to varying degrees. So 2 aspects, 2 poles, a pair of opposites with manifold degrees between the 2 extremes. So the difference between things seemingly diametrically opposed to one another is actually they are one, but they just change somewhere along the way, but you can't distinguish where that is. So spirit and matter are but 2 poles. Heat and cold are identical in nature, but the difference being merely a matter of degrees. So the thermometer shows many degrees of temperature. The lowest pole is called cold, the highest is heat, but between these 2 poles are many degrees of heat or cold. Call them either, and you're equally correct. So the higher of the 2 degrees is always warmer, while the lower is always colder. But there's no place on the thermometer where heat ceases and cold begins. It's all a matter of higher or lower vibration. So the very term high and low, which we're compelled to use, are but poles of the same thing. Okay, just a second. I'm just going to, there. So it's the same with east and west. Right? So you travel around the world in an eastward direction and you reach a point which is called west at your starting point, and you return from that westward point. Travel far enough north and you will find yourself traveling south. So light and darkness are poles of the same thing with many degrees in between. The musical scale is the same, right? You start with middle C, move up to C, and move up to C. So the scale of color is the same, higher and lower vibrations being the only difference between a high violet and a low red. Large and small are the same, sharp and dull, noise and quiet, right? So it sounds to us like they're 2 separate things, but in fact they're not. And what I love about that, okay, is that you get, through mental influence, you get to change your perception and change the polarity. So good and bad, you know, when someone identifies something as good or identifies something as bad, it's neither. It just is. So you can change, though, the influence of that pole by changing the way you think about it. So let's say you identify something as something bad in your life. You could equally identify it as something that has happened for your best interest. But it's all in how you perceive the polar opposites, you know, seemingly polar opposites, but where is it along the way that you can change your perception of what that is? Oh, actually, good and bad is here. So they're not absolute. We call one end of the scale good and the other bad, right? One thing is maybe less good or less bad, depending on where you see it along that vibrational frequency. Okay, so it is on the mental plane. So love and hate are generally regarded as being things diametrically opposed to one another and entirely different and unreconcilable. But when we apply the principle of polarity, we find that there is no such thing as absolute love or absolute hate. They're not distinguishable. They're 2 terms applied to the 2 poles of the same thing, And as we ascend the scale to more or less, we can change the polarity by the way we think about it. And that's called mental transmutation. Okay, so you transmute one mental state into another along the lines of polarization. So whatever you polar and focus upon, you polarize it like a camera, then you change the frequency in which you're in it. So things belonging to different classes cannot be transmuted into one another, but things of the same class may be changed. That is, we may have their polarity changed. Thus, love never becomes east or west, or red or violet. Okay, so we can change the polarity of love and hate based on our perception of it. So courage may be transmuted into fear, and the reverse. Hard things may be rendered dull, dull things become sharp, hot things become cold, right? So the principle, once you understand it, is that you have the ability to mentally change the polarity of anything in your life, sliding along the same scale. And the change is not in the nature. A transmutation of one thing into another thing is different, but it's just a change in the degree of the same thing. So when I think of this, it gives me this feeling of ease, because I know that nothing is absolute. Nothing is in a strongest term. I can change it whenever I want. I can change the way I view it based on its sliding scale. So if I'm fearful about something, I can most easily change that into courage, because it's all part of the same thing. So it's not, doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling fearful. How am I going to find that thing called courage way out there? It's right there. You have it. It's exactly the same. You just have to change the degree in which you live amongst it. So it's the mental influence that you give it. Yeah, change your mental poles. You must be a master of the mental state. So it's all about mentalism, that first principle that we discussed at such length. It really is everything. All the laws come from your workshop in your mind. So just understand that kind of power. Yeah, I think it's pretty simple, but I think we view it through a different lens until we understand better. And then we get a grasp on this, and then you understand you can change anything.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
don't you guys think this is powerful? This is powerful,
Yeah.
because it means that you get to choose, you get to choose. Now you understand that when you look at a situation, if you're in an argument, or if you're experiencing lack, you know that all you got to do is change polarity, change what you focus on, change the way you see it. And by changing the way you see it, you're transmuting, you're changing your situation to match what you're polarizing with. That's fucking powerful, guys. This one I use a lot. This is so much fun. Okay. So well explained, Carolyn.
Yeah, so use that, again, this group is all about awareness first, right? So once you become aware of how you feel about something, because it's all in the way you feel, start playing with it. Start playing with what you would have thought was an opposite, which is not. Start guiding yourself to the pole that you want, right? So in other words, if something happens in your life, be aware of how you identify it. It's a bad day. Well, actually, it's not a bad day. It's a day that you get to determine which part of that sliding scale you're going to categorize your day. So if you make a choice every day to say, this is an awesome day, this is a great day, I'm going to feel great throughout my day, then the circumstances that are going to show up are going to be different than if you get up and say, what a day. This is going to be a rough one, right? This is going to be even when you say things to yourself like, and we all do it, so myself included, we all do it. We go, oh, I'm tired, right? This is like, today's a long day. Today's going to be a long day. I got a lot on my plate today. It's going to be a long day. When you stop doing that and just look at every day as an amazing day for opportunity and change and growth and people and things like magic, guess what? You have a magical day. Pazit and I decided that the month of May was magical.
Yeah.
It is a magical month. We called it the magical month of May. And in every conversation we have, we said, what's the magic today? What's magical today? Well, what are we today? The 19th of May. It has been the most magical month because
That's right.
because we determined it to be so. That's how we identified it. Yes,
Yeah,
you.
we decided. Yeah, I told Lise we're gonna take her question at the end, just
Okay.
so we can continue the flow, sweetie.
Yep.
But I want you to or share it with us in the chat, but we're definitely gonna get back. So please write it down so you
Yep.
don't forget, okay?
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't lose your thought.
Don't lose your thoughts. So write it, share it with us. We want to hear it. I just don't want to break the flow.
Go ahead,
So
sweetie.
so totally. So you guys understand that you have the power to choose the way you see things. Things are neutral. They're neutral. We give it a direction by choosing the polarity. Okay, so it's so nice because polarity and rhythm go hand in hand. So I'm going to jump right into rhythm. So the principle of rhythm says that everything flows out and in, everything has tides, everything rises and falls. The pendulum swings manifests in everything. The measure of the swing on the right is the measure of the swing on the left, and rhythm compensates. So when I want you to think of the law of rhythm, I want you to have a picture in your mind, and the picture is, you know, those 5 balls that when you like, you know, you go tick, 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 and if you take 2 of them, they both always go at the same rhythm, at the same distance from one another. I want you to always remember that. I want you to keep that in your mind, that picture. Okay, so rhythm manifests between 2 poles established by the principle of polarity. There is always an action and a reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking. Night follows day and day night, manifested in all the areas of phenomena of the universe. The principle manifests in the creation and destruction of the worlds, in the mental state of a man. Okay, sorry, it's man because like it's KYBALION, right? But in men and women. So we understand that this principle is not just outside of us, it's also inside our mind. This is the way our mind operates. There is no such thing as absolute rest or cessation from movement, and all movement partakes in rhythm. The principle is of universal application. There is always the rhythmic swing from one pole to the other, and the universal pendulum is ever in motion. The tides of life flow in and out according to law, which means our mind goes from one polarity to the next. Okay, this is why a lot of people actually have a very hard time manifesting, because they're always switching the direction of the pendulum. I'm I'm rich, I don't have money. I'm rich, I don't have money. I made money, I don't have money. So you're always swinging back and forth. So the Hermetic Masters or advanced student polarizes himself to the desired pole by the process akin to refusing to participate in the backward swing, or if you prefer, a denial of its influence over him. He stands firm, he has polarized position, and allows the mental pendulum to swing back along the conscious plane. All individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery accomplish this more or less unknowingly, and by refusing to allow their moods and negative mental states to affect them. They apply the law of neutralization. This is fucking magic, guys. So neutralization means that you get to choose, you get to refuse to let your moods control you. You refuse. The master, however, carries this to a much higher degree of proficiency by the use of his will. He attains a degree of poise and mental firmness, almost impossible of belief on the part of those who allow themselves to be swung backwards and forwards by the mental pendulum of moods and feelings. So this is all about mastering your moods and feelings, because what creates your vibration? Your moods and feelings. Why are you like a yo-yo? Because the outside circumstances you are allowing them to affect you, and you are polarizing with the wrong pole. But imagine now that you guys have the master key and you're able to polarize towards the right pole, and you can practice the law of neutralization to neutralize it there. You don't have to be swung back and forth like a friggin' yo-yo. Those days are over. So the importance of the will be appreciated by any thinking person who realizes what creatures of moods, feelings, and emotion the majority of people are, and how little mastery of themselves they manifest. If you will stop and consider for a moment, you will realize how much of these swings of rhythm have affected you in your life, how a period of enthusiasm has been invariably followed by an opposite feeling or mood of depression. Likewise, your moods and periods of courage have been succeeded by equal moods of fear. And so it has, if it has ever been with the majority of a person, tides of feelings have ever risen and fallen with them. but they have never suspected the cause or the reason of the mental phenomena. So most people are victims to their moods and feelings because they don't realize that they are the ones causing it. They're the ones causing it with their own mind. So that's why we say, I'm going out of my mind. Yeah, because we're driving our own self crazy. Anyways, this is funny. And understanding the workings of this principle will give you one of the key to the mastery of these rhythmic swings of feelings. It will enable him to know himself better and to avoid being carried away by these inflows and outflows. The will is superior. So you need your will, because the will is the power that's going to give you to stay on one side of the polarity. Okay, the will is superior to the conscious manifestation to this principle, although the principle itself can never be destroyed. We may escape its effects, but the principle operates nevertheless. The pendulum ever swings, although we may escape and being carried with it. So I did a little 5-step on how to maintain the direction you want in your life, how you want it to go. So if you guys want to take notes, this is perfect. So the first one is you polarize it to the positive aspect of the vibrational you want to come in alignment with, that positive polarity. So polarize it to wealth, joy, happiness, success, or whatever you want. So the first thing to do is to choose the polarity you want. Okay, that's the first thing. So if it's wealth, choose wealth. If it's joy, choose joy. Happiness, choose happiness. Magical, choose magical. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to make a decision to polarize your higher conscious mind to the positive polarity, not allowing yourself to be swept through decision. And that is the essence that neutralizes the negative swing of the pendulum. So the law of neutralization is critically important to your attainment and achievement of our creative capacity of what we want to draw in our life. So it all starts by making a decision of the polarity that you want, and you polarize to the swing that you want. So you don't. So even though the pendulum keeps swinging, you're not swinging with it anymore. I don't know why, but I always have like Miley Cyrus on the, she had a song called The Wrecking Ball, and she was sitting on this ball going back and forth. Anyways, I kind of see myself like Miley on the ball. So anyways, just to give you guys kind of visuals. So number 3 is you're going to be drawn in one direction or another constantly, because the law is always working. So you're always going to be drawn towards one direction constantly. So the third step is to maintain the direction you want. Maintain it. Don't be swung. Okay, don't be like Miley swinging. Maintain. Okay. Remember that the heart of the secret of this principle is to neutralize the swing from right to left, so that we may escape that rhythmic swing of emotional transmutation and willful decision. Recognize it, see it, so you can understand it, intellectualize it, but do not allow yourself to be swung into the manifestation of negative vibrations. Okay? Be conscious, be mindful, be willing that you are vibrating. Is absolutely critically important to polarize yourself to the desired pole. And you become the master by holding your rhythmic swing to the pole you want through the power of the will, and by refusing to allow your moods and negative mental states affect you. Damn. Do you guys feel like powerful right now? Do you guys feel like you're like going to become super like Supermans and Superwomen? Like, this is like a superpower. So that's so now you could see how all the laws come together, right? So
they all work in tandem. I mean, it's just
they all work together.
It's a very elegant thing, how they all work amongst one another. What I posted here, I put some of Pazit's points, which were great. That was a really great summary. But the 6 mental faculties that we have, which is another call altogether, but just so you're aware of when we talk about the will or your imagination, there are 6 mental faculties that we have. So we have imagination, intuition, and it's in the chat. I posted in the chat: will, perception, memory, and reason. So you own all of those mental faculties, and at any one given moment, you're using them. You're using your intuition, you're using your will, to discipline yourself to do something. So when you talk about choosing which, not to swing, but to keep yourself neutral somewhere in the center, with that image of the, those pendulum balls going back and forth, and then they go doot, 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 and then they go here. That's where you want to be. And that's the power of calm that comes into that, where you are the master of your mind. It doesn't control you, it serves you. You tell your mind through will, right? And reason and perception. So we were just talking about the law of polarity. There's perception there. You know, you can perceive to see a situation one way, or you can choose to perceive it another way. And that's the choice of where you want to be. So you want to avoid feeling anything other than great. And to do that, you choose all the positive polarities, which are always going to get you where you want to go. Okay, because the universe responds to that. So so those are 6 mental faculties. I think important to kind of keep note in your awareness, just then when they kind of come into play.
Absolutely. And this is what gives you the power. So every time you're in a situation, you can like apply this. You can apply this. There's also another method that I love a lot that I could share with you guys is when a situation is not going your way. I don't know if I shared it with you, but when a situation is not going your way, you can always reframe it to go the way that you want by using your imagination. So for example, say for example, you had like an argument with somebody, okay? And you didn't want to have an argument. So what you do is you use your mind to reframe it. You step out of you kind of look at your situation or what's going on in front of you like a movie screen, okay? And you step out of it. You remove yourself and you're like, okay, well, I want to be happy. And right now, this is not making me happy. So you can reframe the situation to see yourself having a very good outcome with the person, okay? In your mind, you reframe it and then you let it go. And then you can see the magic, how that person is going to respond to your new vibration and your new mood. And this is very, very powerful. It takes like 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds to do this. If you get news that is not the news, if you're going for, a certain career, you want a certain client. Let's just say you've been working on a certain client and the client kind of backs out. You can kind of reframe it in your mind that, that you actually did get the deal, that it all worked out, that they came back. And you'll see if you hold on with your will to that image of your mind of everything working out, in a matter of days or weeks, you will see that the client will have a change of mind and will come back. It is so much fun, guys. So these laws are good to they're good to be studied, but the truth is they're even better when you put them into practice. Practice. So the reason why we're all over the place is because we've never been taught this. We've never been taught that we are the ones who are mastering our lives. So we always think we're at the mercy of circumstances. Oh, she did that to me, he did that, or if I didn't do this, so we're always talking like this to ourselves when really, holy fuck, we're the ones doing all this shit by the power of our mind. So now we're taking control of our mind. This is the master key, is that we take control of our mind. We understand how it works. Not only do we understand how it works, we apply the principle. So next time when situations happen, we get faster and faster at like snapping out of them and maintaining that good vibration that is going to pull us towards the pull that we want. So
I was having a conversation over this weekend at this conference I was teaching at, and we were talking. This one gal was sharing, people were sharing their stories in different levels of their, business and their personal stories and whatnot. And she said, I used to feel afraid when I used to fall into this feeling of being depressed, right? Where her vibration got so low that she didn't know how to recover from it. So her solution was, she went to a doctor and they gave her some medication, and this was to treat her depression, until she understood how this all worked within her own mind. So she said, I used to feel like I could go down this rabbit hole, but I didn't know how to get out. So she said, I learned how to reframe, and then slowly move my vibrational energy up higher. And she said, I didn't need any help medically at all. She says, it was the way I was thinking that was making me sick.
Well, that's right.
And it's such a direct link. I mean, I'm not saying that this is not a judgment call on medication, okay, blanket, but it is achievable. It's almost like preventative medicine. If you know all this, you can change the way your body responds. Like your actual body changes Your molecular structure changes by the way you think, and then the way you feel and the way you hold yourself. And before you know it, you're feeling better. And you did it yourself, which makes you feel good, right? It's like, okay, I know how to get out of this. I don't have to worry about, because the law of rhythm tells us that life does go like this. Tides go in and out. We have night and day, right? So the beauty of that is we know that we're never stuck. There is no such thing as being stuck anywhere. You call it stuck. People tell me there's writer's block. I say there is no such thing as writer's block. When writers don't write, they feel blocked. When they start taking action, there is no block. Right? It's your mind telling you that you're stuck in a certain place. So when you actually have the tools, which we all have at our disposal, that's how powerful we are, to change our vibrational energy anytime we want, well, there is no such thing as being stuck anywhere. And as soon as I really understood that, that felt so good.
Right. Right. And also I was going to add to that, Carolyn, that mental illness is a result of dysfunctional thinking.
Yeah.
And where do you think the dysfunctional thinking came from? From our environment that was passed on and passed down and passed down. So mental illness is dysfunctional thinking. Somebody who has depression, it's dysfunctional thinking. It's all caused by the thoughts they are thinking. They are vibrating on the negative polarity, but they're staying there for so long that eventually it causes the depression. So what is the cause? The root cause of everything is your thoughts. And what causes your reality? Your fucking thoughts. It's like,
and that creates your
everything
emotion.
Is within us. That's right.
Yeah.
Everything is within us. That's why they say, seek the kingdom of God, because the kingdom of God is all your senses, all your faculties. They're all within you. Everybody's looking on the outside for fulfillment, when the fulfillment is on the inside. Your gifts that you were born with, those gifts to create your life the way you picture it to be, are on the inside, not on the outside. So I think we can open the tables. I know, Lise, we're going to take you first, sweetie, because you got your hands were up. So we can open the tables. We'd like to hear, how you feel you can apply this law to your life, or any story that you feel that once you've shifted your mindset from one polarity to the next, you've noticed a shift in your life. So Lise, please share with us.
Okay. When I read polarity, okay, to me, it was a scale like that. So it was going like this. But when you put it this way, it's very different. To me, that was a change of paradigm, really. And I had 2 opportunities this week that really, wow, I have to talk about it. My son and I, we shared Mother's Day. We never did. This is the first time.
Oh, wow.
I told them about what I was reading. I told them about the KYBALION laws. He listened, he looked at it, and he said, okay. So it's like, he doesn't say anymore, oh, Mom, you and your ideas. He just, okay, this is where she's at, okay? We already had a nice relationship, but we were never alone. There was always someone somewhere, or whatever. Anyway, and the second thing, I've been hoping to work only 2 days a week, okay? I went to my new boss and I said, this new job, I don't want it. My contract is finishing. I want to stay on 2 days. He looked at me and he said, okay, you want to work 2 days and be paid 5 days? And I said, yeah. He said, okay.
Right. Yay.
That's amazing.
That was just before my birthday. My birthday was Thursday. That was Wednesday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Manifester.
It works.
It absolutely works. It absolutely works. And the more you do it, the more the conviction is built within you. And Lise, congratulations. It's a big one. The relationship with your son, to have created that by thinking that that's what you want, then you brought it into your reality. So now you start connecting the workshop and the reality.
And don't underestimate the power that's connecting you and your son now, that's shifting the relationship, has everything to do with you. right? Like that dance that we do with people. And when we change our step, other people are forced to change their step too. So your change in the way your mind works is actually positively affecting the people in your life. So
I'm so happy.
that's a big one. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
Share with us your successes. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love listening that this material, is sinking in, and you're applying it, and you're creating your reality. You're saying, I want to work 2 days, You're not just taking whatever they're handing you. You're like, I want to work 2 days. That's what I want. Not only you got 2 days, you got a 5-day pay for 2 days. Oh, fuck yeah. Damn right.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have a share for the week?
A share for the week, or how they can use this principle, how they feel they're going to use this principle.
Yeah, or a question, or something you want the mastermind to give energy to give you clarity with something.
This is your time, guys.
I was just when Lise said she shifted like from this to looking at it this way. If you look at it this way, there really is no up or down. Whereas if you look at it like this, there's an up or down. This, it's just like, okay, no
just
big
is
deal, right there. You don't feel that. So when you showed that, I'm like, yeah, that that makes sense. But also, yeah, I've had a great week too. So the first job has been going quite well, and all kinds of ideas are starting to manifest. And one of the people I've done a job for recently, last night I was hanging at, it's also a long lost friend. I was hanging out with her last night, and I got a connection to an amazing realtor who also does her own staging, and was telling her what I do about getting houses ready for the stager to come in. And she's all excited, and she's like, oh my gosh, if I pay you like this much for this many hours and offer that service to my client as like an added value, I don't have to lower my rate from 5% to 4.25%, because I'll just tell them, no, I'm staying at 5 because you're going to get this service of helping to pack or declutter or downsize. And she goes, and you don't have to work it. If you want, you can hire somebody, but you make that money and you decide how you want to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. So anyway, so now potentially moving forward, because all this week I've been like, I'm going to start hiring people. I'm going to align myself with getting some people in and knowing how I work, and, build a team so that I don't necessarily have to do all the work myself. So I'm working on
effect, darling.
I'm working on that. And so, yeah.
Wendy, how long has, okay, hold on. I'm so excited for you. First of all, it's crazy. First, I remember our first phone call when we started with the 11 laws. You didn't know where you were going. You were like confused. Remember, there was the confusion between the swimming and this. Okay. Then you decided to do both. From last week, what we understood is you managed to kind of like fit both into your schedule. And things are unfolding really, really nice for, I don't know if everybody's been following Wendy's story, but she started from confusion. Then she got clarity. After she got clarity, things started moving. She took action. Once she made the decision, opportunities came to her, and now look at her. She's already fucking expanding. This is like 2 months, Wendy.
I know,
this is like 2 months.
I haven't expanded, but it's like,
but you're in expansion.
Do it because my ideas are like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was.
Don't say you're not expanding, Wendy. Don't say you're not expanding. You're in expansion.
You're in expansion.
You're in expansion.
Expanding.
Right.
Yeah. You just shared that you're thinking of hiring people and growing a team. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I was putting it out there going, okay, I'm going to get busy and I'm not going to be able to do all this myself. I need a team. So
So you're expanding.
I am expanding.
There's something, hold on.
I was holding myself back from doing that. And as soon as I let it go and went, I'm going to go with the flow, it's flowing.
It's flowing. I love that.
Blocking the flow.
Flowing. Yeah.
Right. So stop blocking the flow. So I was going to say, Wendy,
get out of your own way, people. Get out of your way.
Right. I was going to just really add something, because I work with a lot of clients and I hear a lot of what Wendy says. Okay. So sorry, but I love what you said, and I'm going to use it as an example for everybody. when people are creating their vision, okay, like just Wendy, she's like, I'm expanding. As soon as you tell her, okay, so you're expanding, no, I haven't expanded. I'm not that yet. You got to stop fucking doing that. You got to stop it. Sorry, Wendy.
No, absolutely.
All my clients do that. And by doing that, what are you doing? You're erasing, you're blocking, think of it like a hose. It's flowing. The water's flowing on a hose.
And you just
now
kinked the hose.
You just kinked it. You just kinked it. And you're not the only one who does it. And I've done it too. Trust me, Wendy, I've done it so many times. I've kinked my fucking hoses. Whoa. But I don't do it. I don't do it anymore. When I do it, I snap out of it quickly. So I wanted everybody to catch that.
Yeah.
When you say
just recognize that, because we do that to ourselves.
We do that. Oh, but I haven't done that yet. Oh, I can't write that. No, but sweetie, that's a vision. How do you think you grow into your next level? By envisioning it, and you're growing into it.
Yeah.
Oh, and another note is like, it's coming, but I've been trying to also look for an SUV with a tow hitch. I need to be, able to rent a trailer and things like that. And she's like, oh, I have like this Volkswagen Atlas that's like brand new. It's on lease for another couple of years. And she goes, it's just sitting there. I have 2 other vehicles. She's like, well, like maybe you could drive it. I'm paying for it anyway, and you can use it. And I don't know, we can work something out. And I'm like, but my first thought was, oh, no, I can't do that. And then I'm like, yeah, that's a possibility. I'm like, all right.
But here's a question for you. Here's a question. When these 2 things happened to you, did you recognize how the law was being applied? Did you feel that this is how, that you were in the flow of the laws actually working for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful.
And, I mean, I find, I guess my usual thing is finding the balance, like, oh, too good to be true. Like we always do that. Yeah. But then I sit there and I go, no, like this is what I've been working for. This is what I've been, wanting. This is what I've been focusing on. And it's coming to me. And I used to be, and I'm going to say in the terms of depression and mental illness, I just wanted to add on that. So 2 years ago, I think when we first met, I had said I had flipped. I used to do the law of attraction without even knowing. And then a couple of years ago, I hit a high anxiety and I hit a depression. And I was trying to get out of it. And people are like, oh, well, why don't you maybe go to the doctor, get a little something? I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't need it. I knew I could pull myself out of it, but because of the people around me, it was keeping me further down. So as I let go of each of these people that I was struggling to still help and things, and just work on my own mindset, it's been a long road, but I've slowly done this. Like I'm a step forward, you know.
But once you get it, Wendy, it doesn't matter if it took you 1 year to come back or 2 years to come back. When you look at life, and we live like 100, on average, okay, like 75 years, that's what the average, lifespan is nowadays.
Yeah.
You say, fuck, 2 years for, for the rest of my life, it's nothing. It's a hiccup.
It's a blip.
It's a hiccup.
And once you know it, you know it. You can't unknow it.
Exactly. And then once I did bring my focus back around and just focus on forward, because I did lose my focus, and that's what I've realized. And it's like, okay, what is my focus? Let's get it back. And as soon as I have got my focus back, and I'm still the same person. I haven't lost that person. So, okay, here she is. And now I'm doing what I used to do, where it's like, yeah, it's going to be a great day this weekend. Everybody's like, oh, I hope it's not going to rain. I hope it's not going to rain.
Right.
Oh,
you get to activate it.
And
you get to activate it.
And I'm like, whatever. I'm going to go with the flow. If it rains, it rains. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's not going to rain. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. And so far, everything's happening exactly the way it is. Yeah. I'm looking forward to riding with my son this
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. Now you get to choose. Sorry. And even if it rains, guys, you can choose to make the rain beautiful. When I see rain, I think rainmaker, I told Carolyn, it's so funny because I've been manifesting money, right? And I said to Carolyn, it's been raining in Florida for like 10 days straight. And she's like, what do you think? I said, I don't know. God, the universe is working with me because I said I'm a rainmaker. And it just hasn't stopped. So the universe is like multiplying.
But you
my
associate abundance with rain.
yes.
So
Yeah, well, that's what a rainmaker
that's the
is.
clear,
A rainmaker is
right?
somebody that's right. So I'm just saying,
So bring it on. Let it rain.
Yeah, let it rain, let it rain, let it, let the sun shine. You decide what it means to you. You have to remember, everything is neutral. Everything is neutral. We're the ones who decide the pole that we're oh, it's raining, it's a shitty day, or oh my God, it's raining, another rainmaker.
What a great day.
Right. Somebody else. Andrew, I never hear
Yeah.
from you. I'm going to put you on the friggin' spot.
Okay, hang on a sec. Before we put Andrew on the spot, we'll give him a moment to think of his thought. And Val's had her hand up. I'm going to get to
All right.
Val here, and then we're going to talk to Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew, I want to hear something from
Colorado.
you besides what you did to your hair. I want to hear something exciting from you. Go ahead.
Okay, Val.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So
Hey.
it's really been a crazy week. It's just so much fun to watch how things go if you just let them go. Like when opportunities pop up, you just explore them. So I got in touch with the Bureau en Gros down the street because I wanted to give a talk there. And the woman who organizes these talks is actually in Toronto. So we're talking about what it is that I wanted to do, and she said, this sounds really great, but I think that this could be a lot bigger than a talk. I want you to speak to a friend of mine. He's here in Richmond Hill, but I think that you guys should talk because, so just, briefly, my calling, my dharma is to help women who are transitioning out of abusive relationships. So that's my niche, that's my calling. So I speak to this guy on Monday. He's a divorce real estate specialist. He was married to a narcissistic sociopath. So he got the female version of my guy. He's been divorced for 5 years. He told me his story about how his practice has come to be what it is. And he's created this professional association. It's a variety of different people who serve people who are going through divorces, selling their houses, insurance brokers, all of that stuff. And they have all been divorced themselves. So in addition to providing their professional service, they are also giving their compassion and their empathy and their love to their clients. So we're trying to figure out something. And while I'm dedicated to my path and what I'm doing, I also know that it's going to take some time. I have no control over the how. And people always talk about, it takes years and it takes years and it takes years. And I'm good with that. It takes time to establish yourself, establish your brand, get out there, get known. But I have some really pressing financial concerns in the meantime. So I was thinking, I should ask my friend Andrea if there are still any openings at this thing that she was telling me about a year ago. And then the next day, Andrea posts on Facebook, hey, we're accepting applications for this. And it's like, boom! So I get in touch with her and I find, and it's a work from home thing. So that makes it easy. I ran the numbers. I can cover everything, including my car. So this is immediate financial freedom. Boom. And now I'm gonna cry, but I'm writing everything out for the family attorney that's in my BNI group. And I'm going for my divorce. I've got to get this man out of my life. The solution to all of my problems is getting rid of him. And then being
so good, Val. So good.
Anyway, it's just amazing. If you just let things flow, if you just, if somebody says, hey, you should talk to this person, talk to that person. Like at first I was like, I don't really understand. Like I really did not understand her vision at all, this woman's vision, or why she wanted me to talk to this person. I really didn't get it at all, but I spoke to this person anyway. And it's really like, it's just, there are so many opportunities that are coming. Not everything is something that needs to be followed through.
So the key here is saying yes.
It's in alignment and everything fits together.
So the key here, Val, is saying yes. Always say yes. Because if it comes to you, it's meant for you.
Yeah.
The timeline, okay, we're going to cover the law of gender later, right? Next week. But the law of gender tells us that we don't get to decide the timeline. But if we tell ourselves, well, generally it's going to take time, maybe a couple of years to establish myself, and it's going to take all of this time, that's what you will get. So here's what you might want to think in terms of everything is always working out for me. There's always opportunity. There's always a connection. And maybe this particular connection is meant for another day. You can't quite figure out where it fits yet. But it may very well not just be that. It could be a person that he connects you to, right? That is feeding into your dream.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But you also have to deal with reality as it is, right? Like, I need money and I need money now. So here's this really cool organization. It's a nonprofit organization. It's a fundraiser. So it's a meaningful way to spend my time. And who knows what's going to happen being involved with this organization. It's a Jewish organization that provides all kinds of educational and family programs for kids and families. So who knows?
Yeah, you just got to stay open. That's it. You follow your intuition. If you got an intuition, call, speak, go, do this, follow it. Don't be like, no, don't brush it off. Intuitions come because intuitions are
amazing. It's been amazing, the manifesting. Just, I wonder if there's any opportunity here. Well, boom.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
And here it is. And on a smaller scale, I was just about to type into our study group, Zoom link, please. And Pazit popped it in right as I was typing. It's like, so.
I heard you. I swear I heard you.
Yeah.
I heard you. That's why I did, because I realized that the link I put in yesterday was a link to sign up. And when I went on, I didn't see your message, but I just saw like somebody writing. I said, I'm going to put the message. She needs the link.
Totally heard me. I thought
I heard you.
And I also love that you use the F-bomb as much as I do.
Yeah.
That's the passion. They say everybody is passionate. It just comes out,
It's just a word that feels really good to use, though.
Yeah. It's my word. It's just a word. But I'm so excited for you. And now that you know how the laws work, you know that you have the power. So, if your results are, I want you to remember this, results are feedback. Results in your life are feedback.
Yeah.
If for one reason or not you're in lack, it's just feedback saying that my thoughts are polarized to thinking thoughts of lack. So let's friggin' use this, KYBALION stuff that I'm learning.
Change
my polarity.
Your thoughts, right?
That's right. Your results in life are only feedback. Don't stay there.
So instead of thinking of lack, which is like, I need money, which tells the universe I don't have it. So even though you think I'm not focusing on, that I don't have money, but the moment we call it a need, it automatically feeds the lack part instead of the wealth part. But what you did is you did change the polarity, because what you asked for, you didn't say, I need it. You said, I want an opportunity. I asked for an opportunity. And the universe responded and gave you the opportunity, which gave you what it is you want, money.
Right. And
so it doesn't mean money's going to fall from the sky. It means it's going to send you a person that's going to link you with an opportunity that's going to provide you exactly what you want. So when you say, I'm focusing on, I have wealth, I have abundance, I have opportunity, versus, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Where I'm going to find next month. When you're focused on opportunity, guess what shows up? Opportunity.
Yeah. And there's one more thing.
Oh, sorry. I keep saying thank you instead of I need.
Yes.
It's good.
That means it's already here.
Please God, give me this job. It's thank you, God, for the job.
That's right. And I wanted to mention something else that's very, very big. So sometimes when you're experiencing lack, you see an envelope and there's a bill inside, and you just looking at the envelope or just receiving the envelope causes a feeling. I want you to be aware of what are the feelings that you're getting, because the envelope itself is neutral. It's neutral, just a piece of paper. But we polarize it by giving it this feeling and saying, oh, fuck, another bill. Like, like I just paid this and now it's like another one. So I want you to remember that we give it feeling. So all these things come into play with what you're attracting and not. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if that's your situation or not, but my intuition said to mention that. So Yeah. So when you get bills, just think like, thank God I have this service and that I'm able to provide for it, right? Thank God you have a phone line so you can thank God you have internet so you can get on these chats every Sunday. Thank God, so that's how you
And
look
when
at
you pay the bill, be grateful that you're paying the bill.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the bills are there and it means that you now have an exchange of money and service, which is how the law of compensation works. So the moment you're in the flow of that versus, oh my God, here I got to pay this bill again. It's like, I'm so grateful that I can pay this bill because now I can just continue with this exchange you and I have between my money in exchange for your service. So that's it. That's all
it's just paper. It's just paper. It's just paper.
Energy.
We neutralize it. That's it.
I'm grateful to be able to pay the bills.
Yeah.
There's just some requirements beyond the bills. That's all. But
That's
I've
it.
got it covered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You got it. You got it. If you need the power of the mastermind, ask for what you need, and we'll power you up.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing from me. No worries.
Good.
Okay. Okay.
Good,
Well, we expect you to ask. We expect you to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead, Andrew. Let's hear from you a little bit.
Here, I'll unmute you. Unmute you. There we go.
Look at that. We're on mute. We're out of time.
Oh, no. We have 4 solid minutes.
What do you want to know?
How was your week?
I finished a video this week for my business.
Good.
So I just finished the TIR program through Bob Proctor, and my coach asked me to do a video. So if it's all right with the group, I'd like to upload it so you guys can watch. It's pretty amazing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Please upload it. Share it with us.
I'll have to figure that out. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
What is your videos in a format now?
Yeah, it's a YouTube.
Oh, you can share it.
Yeah.
You can share the link for the YouTube. You can just share it.
Just look it in the group. Please don't put it on YouTube because.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted to hear like your feedback, like how you're using the laws. How do you feel? This is like working out in your day to day. Have you become more aware? Are you mastering more like your thoughts?
Does it support that? Because TIR, I mean, this is part of what you're living regularly. So it must be, does it intertwine with the study that you already have?
Yes. And that's how I become aware of this group. So I joined the PGI Marketplace.
Right.
And that's where Zeke and I started talking. And I always saw the millionaire group, but it to me it was always a women's group. And I was like, oh, here's another one. It says millionaire, doesn't it say?
Millionaire Mentors?
Yeah. And I was like, well, and it's all females, but I just do well with females. I just connect better. It's just the way it is. So I just like.
You were led here.
Yes, I know. Same thing with the book, The KYBALION. My coach had mentioned it, and I never did anything about it. But just like the Zeke, it'll come back to you. It only comes to you when you're ready for it. But when I started reading it, I was like, this just makes sense. This just makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels like your truth. So thank you so much for sharing, Andrew. I didn't know that the KYBALION came to you through your coach. That's really fun to hear. So yeah, when the book has to reach you, let me tell you, that book hounds you hounds you down. It chased me like 3 times from Montreal to Miami. It chased me, so I'm so happy that you took the leap and you did it. And we love having men in this group, and we're hoping to have more men
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Brad is here on the call. We're welcoming Brad onto the call.
Welcome, Brad. Absolutely. I've been trying to manifest more men in the group, so I don't know if I'm like the universe is listening. But thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure. And some of the books that I'm reading, like when I first started, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. But now I go back and I reread it, and I was like, oh, now I understand.
Right. And that's what's so wonderful about when we read the books. If you're an underliner or a highlighter like me, you're reading and you're saying, oh, this makes sense. I love this. I have to come back to this. And then you read the book the next time and you see something in the pages that you never underlined before. And you're going, oh, wow, that didn't impact me then, but I've changed. It impacts me now.
Right.
You have
what I
money
love
coming
is
in.
yeah. Did you hear the money?
Yes, I heard the money thing coming in. Secret money app.
Okay, guys, money for everybody. Money for everybody. It was a full moon last night.
It was.
Yeah.
It
But all
was.
this to say,
Yeah.
so I've been led after the KYBALION. I'm also reading the Master Key, which is also, oh my gosh, it's such a yummy book. Definitely something Caroline and I are going to bring to the Mastermind. But what's really beautiful about these books, they're not just books. They're a way of life. They're a way of living. They're like the fucking manual. They're the manual to mastering our universe. And when you meet somebody who's part of the 1 to 3%, they all know this. And so I always ask myself, what's the difference between, what was the difference between them and I? It was just the information that they had. It's their thoughts. That's like, ow. So it didn't really matter where you came from, what school. That's why they say it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because it's all created by your thoughts. And the minute you change your thought is the minute you change your reality. So it doesn't matter if you went to Harvard or I don't know where, or public school. It has no bearing, because at the end of the day, you could have gone to Harvard, but if your mind is dysfunctional and your thoughts are not good, you're not going to reach the success you want. So this is very, very powerful stuff. And this is not just meant to be learned. It's meant to be applied. Yeah. And this is why I want you guys always, not just to come to the mastermind, but to remember to practice, practice, practice. When something happens, you're like, okay, if you're having road rage, you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. You catch yourself and you're like, wait a minute, Let me think, why am I going crazy? Why am I bringing this energy? I could just put some music. I could enjoy. I don't need to chase this person. This person wants to be like, that's fine. I can maintain my peace no matter what's going on around me. And that's like
the secret. That's the secret, being in control of you.
Yeah.
You being in control of you. And we can all do it. It's not like some are chosen and some are better and some have the skills and others don't. Some people aren't aware that they have the skill yet, but our job, Pazit and I consider a lot of what we do, is our job to kind of share this information as much as we can to get other people into that level of awareness, and then to encourage them to practice it and then master and then share it again. Right? So then you guys are going to have conversations with people like Lise did with her son, sharing what she's doing. And all of a sudden he's going, oh, that's interesting. And maybe it's something like Andrew, who saw it in a book or it was shared by his coach. And he went, oh, and he's ready to receive.
That's right.
So that's one more person, that falls in. Imagine if we were all to think properly and use these laws, how we would change the consciousness of the planet, like on that scale. Right? We just do it one person at a time. But the moment we own that we can change our life and be whoever we want to be based on who we imagine, and we have the power to respond or react or do however we want, then we master ourselves and our mind, and then we master our results, and we're not victim to anything.
That's right. And then you attract people, people who are watching you, because believe me, people are watching you. And when they see you reach, when they see your lifestyle is changing, when they see your house is changing, when they see that you're switching cars, okay, that's the physical, right? It lets them know how good you're doing. When they see you, you're in shape, you're taking care of yourself, right? So they're like, what are you doing? And that creates the shift. I heard like such a great story, just to finish off on the mastermind. It was a great story by a gentleman yesterday. I was listening to his video. I can't remember his name, but he was saying that he was so tired. Every time he would go on a plane, he would always pass first class. And he's like, why am I always walking to the back of the plane? Like that shift, that moment shifted him. And he said, what do people have in first class that I don't have? And I'm so sick and tired of walking by that first class. And that started his whole shifting his mindset. And he understood that it all came to mindset. And he shifted his whole life. And now not only is he on first class, he and his family only fly first class. And that all happened when he saw it clearly, like that analogy. And he decided that he was ready for a shift. And he polarized from coach to first class. And this is what we're teaching you guys. We're teaching you to take your coach thoughts and polarize them
into first class.
and private jet, jet setters, that's my thing. But, that's what we're doing with this. And this is what is available to you when you know how to play the game.
Yeah,
Life is
takes
just
you from the 97% to the 3%.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So guys, we're going to start closing the mastermind. So I want to thank every single person that showed up. And I don't know if any of you are feeling that waking up at 7 is so much easier now. Like, I have to tell you, the first couple of weeks, like even myself had a bit of a struggle. But now it's just like, I don't even put my alarm on. I'm just like, I just wake up easy. Yeah. So easy peasy. Like, it's become a habit. It's become a habit. Like, it's natural to wake up at 7 on Sunday, or at 6 on Sunday. So anyways, all this to say that all these things will become a habit. That's what I'm trying to say, is that at first it feels like, I have to get out of bed. It's a bit tough. And then in a couple of weeks, it becomes like a habit. It's just like you jump out of bed, and the same way I want you to jump out of bed, I want you to jump into your new life. And I want to see each one of you fly high above and beyond and be the next leaders, and we keep multiplying. So
It's all
have fun.
possible. Think of your life from when I say my window seat at 40,000 feet, right? Think of your life from the top of the mountain and look out over the vista and see how magnificent it is, and know that you can do all of it and you're in the flow of it all the time. So you just get to direct the flow however you want. Bye, Gabriella.
Bye, Gabriella. So so always remember that you are the creator of your reality and that your mind is your workshop. Okay. So go have fun and go play. The world is your playground. Go have fun. All right, guys. Have an amazing Sunday.
And
we'll see you
come in
next
the chat
Sunday.
during the week. Come and talk to us during the week and let us know how things are.
Absolutely. And for next week, I think we're finishing it off with cause and effect and the law of gender. So guys, that's the homework, to read it. But the biggest homework is to play and have fun and put these laws into practice. All right?
Okay, everybody.
All right,
have
creators.
Great day, great
go
week.
do your thing. Go do your thing. Bye.
Bye for now.